everyone, it's a Telsonator here. Thanks for watching my first video installment of my series on how to understand the anatomy of your guitar and the succession of notes that we use in notation. It's not important that you're able to understand the anatomy of your guitar and the succession of notes that we use in notation. It's not important that you're able to read Beethoven music when you have it in front of you, but knowing your note names will really help you when it comes to doing solos or leads or constructing chords or variations on chords, for example. And it just makes you a little bit less afraid to play in these upper frets. Some people are comfortable on the 12, some people are comfortable down here, but most people are not comfortable in this area. And this will help you just lay out the whole guitar and you'll start to realize it's all the same thing. So let's just start getting through the boring stuff and we'll just learn our note names. It's pretty easy in the end. We have 7 letters, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I'm sure you're all familiar with those. We just pick those for the sake of convenience. And every one of those notes has a corresponding sharp or flat, except for a couple of pairs, which we'll talk about when we go through this session. So we're starting off with something convenient, an A. So we've got A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, and G sharp. You'll notice that 2 of those didn't have a sharp. There was no B sharp and there was no E sharp. We just called them C and F. That doesn't mean you will never see them called that, but for the sake of ease of use and convenience, we won't talk about those yet until later. So what we need to be able to do is find one of those notes and we can kind of count our way through it. We can really start to understand how our guitar is laid out. So let's start off by finding an A. We want to pick the most obvious A note, and if you know your string names, which you should, we'll know that our second from the top is our A, right? Or our 5th string. So starting on A, every fret will go through the succession of notes. So each one of the notes above is a semitone, and every fret is a semitone, or a half step, depending on where you are. So we'll just go through it. A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp. And then we're starting back again on A, and it just goes infinitely. A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D. I don't need to know which fret I'm on. If I had 150 frets, I could lay out every single one of them for you. Okay? Now, that gets us all set up. We've got no B sharp, we've got no E sharp. Just keep those in mind, right, when we're talking about this. So, we don't need to start on an A. It's very convenient to start on A. But remember, as I said, this line of music goes infinitely in both directions. So we can start on any note and we can use this succession. We could also even think, instead of it going infinitely in both directions, it goes in a continuous loop, right? So as soon as we get to G sharp, we go back to A again and we just go through the succession again. But we're going to keep moving up on the guitar. So let's pick a more central note, somewhere in the middle like E. And we'll pick our E string because that's nice and easy. So we just go through the succession, but we start on E. E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, and we start over again on E. That's why your 12th fret has 2 dots on it, because that's where your note succession starts over again. And every time you see a double dot, for example on a 24 fret instrument, you'll see it's the same thing. It's another set of 12 notes that we're playing. That works really well for open strings, but it doesn't work so well if you want to start on this note. If you don't know what this note is, I suggest you put on your tuner app or your clip-on tuner and just look at it. Just as simple as it sounds. Find it. That's a D, and we just start on D. D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, etc., etc., etc. It also works backwards. D, C sharp, C, B, A sharp, A, G sharp, G. Doesn't matter where I go. So as long as I can think of this as a continuous line in both directions or a continuous loop, it'll make it much more easy to grasp the layout of your instrument. All right, thanks for watching.